Ça tourne.
T'as vu comment je suis blanc?
T'as vu comment je suis blanc?
Tu me vois pas.
Et
je suis
bronzé moi en plus.
T'es bronzé toi?
Là j'ai bronzé, ouais.
Ah bon? Ouais, c'est ça. Ouais.
Ah putain, non, je suis un peu plus jaune que toi, c'est vrai.
J'ai jamais eu quelqu'un encore pour le moment qui est aussi blanc que moi. Je reflète tellement la lumière.
Bon, c'est quoi la séance aujourd'hui?
Poule. On va aller tirer un peu de poids, un peu de fonte. Alors, on va commencer d'ailleurs par l'échauffement.
D'accord. On s'échauffe toujours avant.
Voilà. Surtout quand je commence à vieillir comme moi. Elle est un peu cassée, tu vois. Donc il faut bien l'échauffer. De pump.
Bon alors c'est quoi l'échauffement là, monsieur?
On passe par la petite balle de la crosse. Hop. Ça fout derrière.
C'est bizarre.
Et on fait le vieux, voilà.
Non, non, mais moi je suis de la muscu, monsieur, c'est quoi ça va?
Allez, détendre un petit peu là. La coiffe des rotateurs qui est très tendue chez moi.
Ok. Ah, les Y...
Ouais.
I, T, W, c'est ça?
Non, non, c'est ça.
C'est quoi, tu fais de l'extension thoracique et rotation externe?
Vraiment de l'extension comme ça. On va aller chercher le trapèze inférieur.
And what is up, people? For a new video on YouTube. It had been a while. So today I'm training with Jeremy, or Jmevel on Instagram. I'll link you the profile. He's a good friend since a while, and we decided to train together. It was about mid to late May, and we did a pull workout, a back and bicep workout basically. I followed him on his normal training, so this is not a full body, this is not the upper body or lower body. This is like a split training body part training, and it had been a while. We wanted to train, so I was really glad to train with him since he's a very good friend of mine. He's very advanced in terms of training experience and performance too. He's very strong, and just like me, he has had a few rough time regarding injuries and stuff. So I really wanted to show you his way of warming up, how he's approaching training, and also what was his base and logic for training basically. Since as you can see, he's very, very, very big. He's natural, of course, very big, very thick, and despite the fact that I did my best to really show him in the best light, the light of gyms are really, really hard on pale and white skin, so you know, you have to imagine him being very, very big and way bigger in real life than what is seen on screen. So we started with cable row, a simple basic movement. I'm showing you the warm-up set to show you what we do, you know, to make sure everything is okay and running perfectly. We did the training sets with Mag Grip, which is a really nice apparatus handle. I never worked with it by the past, but it was really nice, very comfortable, and I never had any problem to activate my lats and my back muscle, but apparently for people that struggle a bit with it, it's nice. So as you can see, we are rowing with different torso inclination, with more or less protraction and retraction in the shoulder blade. It's just to warm up basically. And as you can see, we are going pretty heavy, not that much, but pretty heavy for first exercise. And we only have 2 walking sets. As I said, I'm following him on his own training, and you will see that despite having only 2 walking sets for each exercise, there is actually quite a lot of exercise. So less volume per exercise, but much more angle work, basically, which is very smart actually when you want to have an intense and smart training of the back, because of course back is not just one muscle. We say back because it's easier to envision, but it's traps and rhomboid and teres major and lats is very very big as a muscle group. You have the external, internal, iliac and shoulder fibers. So yeah, as you can see on my set, I am using a bit of body English, as we say. It's just to accommodate better both the resistance and avoid straining too much my lumbar spine. And yeah, very nice, a classic. Then we continued with middle row. So some of you may not know middle row. It's from the late John Meadow, even though if we had some bodybuilder from the golden era who also did it, especially from Colombo. This is basically a friendly dumbbell row variation with barbell to both overload better and kinda isolate better the back muscles. So here I'm showing Jeremy do it. So it's the equivalent of 3 plate, but we used 15 kilo plate to have a bit more range of motion because they are smaller, and we are of course cueing the lat work. So we are not pulling in a straight line, we are doing it in a slight arc line to have more lat stretch and lat contraction, especially the lower lat, which is something that a lot of lifters actually struggle with. I personally never had this problem, but I'm pretty blessed lat rise in the development, and I also started very early to do a lot of dumbbell row and middle row in an arc. So yeah, as you can see, I'm here too, so you can see it from the side. It's a very arc-like range of motion. I'm pulling my elbow down and back, not just up and down. And yeah, 2 walking sets each side, of course. I'm showing you both so you can see how it's done. I always start with my left side because this is the weaker side, but the side I'm also the most comfortable with, and with that I can actually cue myself in to basically redo the exact same thing but on the other side, which is you know, kind of simple in my mind. And then we go on the lat pull down machine, which is very great. It's from the Armor Strength machine. From some of you that remember my video from Vancouver, Canada, I had one and I tried one. It's very, very nice. I love it for lat work. As you can see, it's kind of a high row range of motion because you are pulling vertically, of course, but it's more diagonally, and the elbow is forced to be brought down, basically. So very, very good to work the full lat and to really stretch it. And you may have seen the little detail that is interesting is that Jeremy is using straps and he's putting his hand on the very edge, the outside part of the supinated part of the handle. It just feels better for him. I asked him and he's just feeling better. So, you know, nothing too complex about it. Me, I'm more on the closer edge of the side and I'm tilting more on the side, my whole torso, to have a better contraction and to basically control better the stretch, because there is a huge stretch when you are at the top and you can that way have a huge flex at the bottom. And as Arnold say, you need both the flex and the stretch to have the best muscle building training that you can have. And yet again, I'm starting with the left arm, then doing the right arm for exact same reason as for the middle row. So really nice, really nice machine. You will see that we are not minded to any kind of training. I have, of course, evolved a lot during my lifting career, but I think that as a smart lifter, you need to not be married to just free weight and cable or machine. You need to actually have both. And here I'm doing a set and I'm showing you the exact same set with Jeremy because it was the last set and we did drop set, basically double drop set. So this way you can see what we are doing both. Of course we did not start it with the same arm, but you can see how our back are moving and also how we are both tilting and ending up in the same exact position at the end of the rep, and kind of the same start too. And this is what I wanted to point out. We are more or less the same height, we have more or less the same build, even if he's of course more muscular than me and a bit bigger frame wise, and yet we are applying the same biomechanics law, the same lever, and we are trying to actually accommodate the resistant path with what we have and what we do. So here we are starting the drop set. You can see me on the right. I'm removing some weight of his plate. He's doing exactly the same for me, which is really nice because as a drop set you need to be pretty fast, having like 10 to 20 seconds rest, before starting again the set, but it can be hard when you are alone, so having someone doing it for you is very nice. And this is something else that I really missed for a while now, since I only train alone most of the time, is that a good lifting training partner is paramount. It's very great to push you, to support you, to still fool around a bit, because you can see we are still having fun. And yeah, it's just nice, you know, to have someone who is thinking and doing alike, and someone who understands what you're doing and what you do want to achieve. And Jeremy is like that for me. So it was very, very great to have these 3 hours with him, and to actually just follow him, you know, just see what he's doing and how he's achieving one of his best physique yet to date. And you have to imagine that, yet again, the video is not very nice to him, in a sense that he's just looking fat and flat, and he really wasn't. It's just that he's so pale, you know. Just me being a bit more tan than him changed everything for the camera. And yeah, he's having an even better physique now. You can see it on Instagram. He pursued his cut, and it's looking very, very nice. So yeah, here we're just finishing up with one plate. You know, there is virtually no weight. It's very easy for both of us, but we are really going for the burn. And yeah, and you can see I did slightly more reps than him. I beat him on this, but you know, it's just machine, you know, and I'm just very, very comfortable on many back and pulling exercise. So yeah, the most important thing is that you actually train with a required amount of intensity and going closer to failure, without actually trying to compete too much and try to reproduce what your training partner is doing, because he's doing what he's doing and you may not be responding well to what he's doing. So yeah, and here I'm showing a bit of flat pump, you know. Then we followed with some high row, but we put a seat very high and we had a pronated grip. So this is basically something to target better the mid back and the lats, but with some traps assistance. So as you can see here with Jeremy, he's getting thicker and thicker by the reps, and this is something that is very easy on the shoulder too. This angle is very easy on the shoulder, and this is something that is, of course, very important in general, but especially for him, since he had pre-existing issues with his shoulder. You can see maybe a bit better since I removed my shirt here, so you can see a bit better what is actually worked. But you know, low traps, mid traps, lats, a bit of teres major, because the grip is kind of wide-ish, you know, but very comfortable. This machine, the hammer strength, are very, very nice for training. I rarely saw better machine than these ones, so yeah, and it's tiring. Then we went again on the cable, but this time for wide grip, elbows out, cable row. So this is for maximum rear delt bias. As you can see, we are not retracting that much the scapulae. It's more about elbow adduction, and with a lot of internal rotation to really put the rear delt fibers into the alignment of the resistance. So the weight is very, very light, and we are just doing drop set on drop set. 2 sets again. It's more than enough when you're doing drop sets, because you basically have to understand that when you're doing a drop set, you are basically adding another set. So us doing 2 sets with double drop set is actually exactly the same as doing 6 walking sets, since the density of training and the accumulated fatigue are doing a snowball effect on the muscle building reaction, basically on both the muscles that are being used, but also the pump and the local growth factor. So you know, if you need a quick workout, drop set and rest pause are some of the best things you can do. And as you can see, it's working very well. Yet again, I could not correct too much the colorimetric, but he was looking huge and thick, and had it been a bit more tanned, it would have been even better. So this is my turn. You can see that I am having a bit of trouble with not activating the traps, because I focus so much on traps that now it's a reflex basically to use them. But you have to trust me, I was really focusing on just pulling the elbow back and trying to keep the shoulder down. But yeah, tight and strong strap, and tight and strong traps are sometimes a bore. Still, I was able to, of course, put much of the brunt of the work on the rear delt, and it worked. And it worked very well. I actually remember one of my training partner in Vancouver that learned from a guy who was in Olympia. How is it called again? I think it's Regan Grimes, and Regan Grimes for his rear delt was doing exclusively that, and it worked a lot. So, you know, if you want to try it out, you can do it, because there are actually a lot of Olympian athletes that are doing it. So yeah, and you can see I was pretty done at this point. And then a bit of flexing, just like Jeremy, but you know, I was a bit more lucky with the light. Then we started to go on the biceps training portion. So with simple dumbbell alternating curl, seated. He was actually doing them standing, but I said seated is better, you know, for more stabilization, for less fatigue of the core and hip area, and it's actually easier to isolate and focus better on the biceps, which might seem weird because most of the time you have heard that being standing will activate more muscle and it will be better for overall hypertrophy. But you have to remember, we are both advanced. For him, this is lightweight. He's just trying to isolate and be very, very strict on the form and just focus solely on the biceps, who is a weak point for him, for both of us actually. And he did a great job, as you can see. Then it's my turn, and you can see I'm using slightly heavier weights than him, but the thing is the same. I'm not trying to swing too much the weight. I'm controlling it, and if I'm swinging my torso, it's just to align better the elbow and the dumbbell with the biceps, basically. Since if I'm just curling up and down, it will not be fully supinated. So yeah, very good and classic exercise, and it's not for nothing. If it's a basics, that's because it's working, and if it's working because it's a basics. So you can see me struggling, and I finished my set a bit too early, because then Jeremy told me, hey, you have 2 more. So I just grabbed his weight and I did 2 more, because you know, I'm not here to cheat anyone out. So yeah, you have to keep honest with yourself and with what you're doing. And then we yet again got down on the second floor of the gym to do stretch curl. So this is basically incline curl on the cable. So you put a light weight, you go a bit forward, and you just curl, you know, and you try to keep your elbow as tight and as still as possible, focusing solely on the flexion to really stretch on the longer head of the biceps, which is, of course, one of the easiest to miss when you are actually working the biceps. So yeah, yet again, as you can see, very focused, slow and controlled, but not too slow, with a bit of squeeze. And yeah, one of the best exercises actually there is for biceps. It is one of the exercises that allowed me to break the 17-inch mark of bicep measurement, or 43 centimeter if you will. And yeah, it's doing exactly the same for Jeremy. Even if you're doing low volume, because we basically just did 4 sets for biceps, it's working very, very well. And as you can see me here, I'm a bit more explosive, you know, but I'm trying my best to be controlling the weight. And I actually had a lot of soreness from doing this one the next day, and this is actually not quite usual for me to have bicep soreness. Triceps, yeah, forearm, yes, but biceps not that much. So I was very pleased with it, because even if soreness is not necessarily linked with muscle growth, I tend to still develop better the muscle that I can get sore easier than the muscle that I can't get sore or more difficultly. So yeah, very nice. And that was basically it. Then we did a bit of posing, as you can see, still fooling around, because, you know, don't be just too serious, especially if you're training with friends. And yeah, that was about it. So I hope you like the videos. I hope you like this training portion of me explaining to you a bit what was happening in front of a screen. And as you can see, we're still fooling around. So basically we were just wondering what pose are we going to do. So we just got for the, you know, the classic, and I did some adjusting with his screen, just dead, you know, and yet again he's still mugging me, and yet again you'll see he's just flat and very white, and we should have switched we should have switched place, because he's actually way bigger than what you can see. And yet again we're fooling around, you know, just like some bodybuilders that are way too serious on stage, you know, just have fun, you know, but put them on the ground if you want. Then we did back, because if you walk back, you have to actually check out the back after. And as you can see, I was very, very pumped, especially of the mid back, which is actually one of the strongest body part I have. You know, the mid back, the upper back is actually a weakness of mine, but the mid back's not so much. And for him, it's kind of the same, even if he's way bigger of the upper back than me, and I have way thicker frame, as you can see. Look at his rib cage; it's just ridiculous. You'll see him on the side chest. He will just mug me. Look at this shit. Look at him. So nice, you know. He's looking good, and he's one of the best French athletes I have seen of my eyes, and same here with the tight, you know. So yeah, that's about it, you know, abs, and yeah. So make sure to follow him. Thank you for watching everything. Have a good day, you know, and take care. Bye.